Yo, 1 2 1 2. I'm what to do. It's your boy Snacks, and we back with another episode, baby. Yeah, another episode to just hear me out. I know it's been a minute, but I am back up in it. Yes, sir. And I'm not even gonna lie. Hold on, I don't even got my glasses on. You know what I'm saying? I've been having technical difficulties dealing with this with my program that I used to record on, so I'm having to do it a different way. I got tired of trying to struggle to try to fix it, and so I said, well, we just finna do this another way, a way I didn't want to have to do it, but hard times call for different avenues. I need to learn me another DOS. I need to learn me another system besides Audacity. Audacity is what I use to record, but I'm not gonna get into the ins and outs of it. It just ain't letting me record how I normally record for y'all. So we doing it a different way today. But yes, we are here with episode 51. I'm back, and it just so happened to be a slow news day, or a slow news week, should I say. So we're going to pick up where we left off, which is on a couple stories from last week. A couple stories from a couple weeks ago that I should have covered or continued to cover and finished covering. Some of them have developed covering. That's crazy how I say that, covering. I'm country, I guess, or I'm sounding country today, which normally I don't have an accent. Normally people are asking me, or they used to ask me, your wife is white, ain't she? And I'll be like, why would you say that? And they would say, because your accent, you don't got no accent. You talk proper. It's wild. But anyway, yes, we are back. And so we're going to cover some things that are still in headlines, but have developed a little further than where I last left off on covering it. But because I have a podcast, I do believe it is my responsibility to report on what's going on in the culture, as well as the things that are personal to me. And so we're going to start off with the things that are personal to me. And that's the first one is actually when I hadn't reported on this one in a minute, and that is my health journey. But I haven't been reporting much because it ain't been much to report, because your boy been stuck at 270 for like 2 months. I get down to 270 and I might slip into 268, 269. But by the time it come Monday for the check-in, 270s again. I was doing good right before I went to my family reunion, and I went to the family reunion on July 4th, and after that I was above 270, and I couldn't get below 280 for a Monday check-in for nothing. So I had to change up some things. I had to tweak it a little more. I had to step up and do more cardio. And I'm tweaking my diet down a little better, trying to stay away from carbs more, not canceling carbs out, especially because they do good for your running. They help you. They give you energy during your runs. But I'm trying to dial it back on the carbs a little more, and I'm switching out the desserts for more fruits and even vegetables. Yes, even vegetables. Because what I've started doing with vegetables is at work they offer us catering, and they have a juice bar, and so and it's already pre-juiced. So I've been drinking like celery and carrots and apples with ginger in it. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I am having an affinity for ginger. Yeah. It's spicy. Right now I'm not drinking ginger. Right now I'm drinking coffee because it's late when I'm recording it. I just had to buckle down and get it done. And I said, let me just do it this way. Hopefully it works, and we are going to see. We're not going to know until the end. I could have did a test run and then pulled it out and checked the recording and plugged it into the Audacity, because the program won't let me record in Audacity because it won't give me my channels that I need to record it. I need to record on, so I'm going to pull it out. I got it recording on the mixer on the SD card, and then we just going to take that SD card, and then I'm going to download it or upload it to Audacity, see if it will give me the 14 channels. If not, then I'm going to move to my laptop and try it there. If it don't work like that, I don't know how I'm going to get this episode to you guys. But listen, where there's a will, there's a way, I guess. I ain't searched the way yet. And it's me and ChatGPT is definitely going to go on a journey. Yeah. To figure out how in the world we gonna make this work. But anyway, going back to me, I'm Making little changes. I got on a scale this morning. Well, I got on a scale this afternoon after I ran a 5K. That's another thing I didn't tell y'all. I've been running 5Ks. So I'm on my second 5K. Last week I did the Christmas in July 5K. And it was good. It was good. The interesting thing is I run faster outside, or my times are better outside than when I get on the treadmill in the gym. But the reason being, which I realized today when I ran another 5K and I was clocking like 15 sub 16-minute miles. And I think during the Christmas in July 5K, I was clocking sub 17-minute miles. But I realized the reason why is because whenever I walk on the treadmill in the gym, it's on an incline. As soon as I get on the thing, I put it on an incline. It's at least at 2%. And then it climbs up to like 5. I'll change it intermittently after I do like 20 minutes at 2 minutes. And then I'll change it to like 3.5. Then I'll change it to like 4.5. Then I'll change it to like 5. I've gone as high as having it on 6. And then the miles per hour have stayed the same until I ran into a friend of mine who she told me she was walking because she don't like to run at a 4.0 on the treadmill. And I'm like, how the world do you do that? And so that kind of incentivized me to start stepping my pace up on the treadmill. And even though I'm stepping it up, I still ain't turning down that incline. And so it's happening so that when I get outside and I run, when it's flat, it's easy running. It don't feel, it feels like a breeze. And when I get to the inclines, because I'm trying to protect my knees, I typically don't run uphill outside. Not yet. I gotta get my knees all the way back right before I can start tackling inclines with running. I'll run down some, but I'm always checking in with my knees. But anyway, all that said is this evening I checked in at like 266 pounds. Now that's like 4 pounds away from 270. And I'm trying to stay away from 270. That is my goal. I think I got on a scale Friday and it was 270 after I had been trying to eat right. I think I missed Thursday on doing cardio. But I was so mad. I said, I'm just going to do what I got to do. If every day I have to stay on that scale and go and eat and work out and eat and work out to make that thing go down, that's exactly what I'm going to do. People going to say that's unhealthy, but I don't care. I don't care. I got to do something with this weight. I got to get it off me. I'm almost ready to go back to the GLP-1s, but nah, my finances not gonna let me do that right now. And I would, if I had to choose, I would much rather go back to testosterone than GLP-1s. That brings me to my life, like what I've been doing, and I'm still talking about it, but other things I've been doing is going on hikes. And I ran into a hiking group and they have adopted me, so I'm a part of their hiking group. Well, I was there when they first started, and so we doing like 2 hikes a month. So I'm making new friends, learning about networking. I'm actually going to take the podcast into the networking field and begin to offer my podcasting services, or at least the real services, to those small entrepreneurs, small business owners who want to get their business put out there. Because listen, I am fire when it comes to interviewing. I'm good at what I do at podcasting. And, I can't really just reach out to these big name people, the people that actually y'all want to see on a podcast. So I'm finna reach out to the people who need a podcast and offer my services to them, interview them. And I am going to work my way up till I am interviewing big names in music and entertainment and government and all of that. And yeah, that's the goal. So anyway, that's enough about my life and what's going on right now. We're going to jump into these news stories that I need to cover. One of them in particular is I want to apologize. I want to apologize for on an episode like 3 or 4 episodes ago when we were talking about the Karmello Anthony case. I said something then that I need to retract. I said that it wasn't fair for Karmello Anthony because the juror wasn't made up of his peers. And listen, when I tell you I posted that reel to TikTok and they ran me through, boy, what are you talking about? You need to learn. You need to read. You uneducated. You know what I'm saying? They was eating your boy alive. I mean, they was like, you know, somebody said, stop. Oh my God, stop the ignorance. You know, somebody sent me an emoji of someone handing me my brain like you forgot this. Do research, they were saying. You know, can you point out where the law says you have to have a jury of peers? The U.S. Constitution doesn't even mention the word peers. And I had the definition, and I had to go look it up, you know, because listen, the TikTok audience said, learn your stuff. Let me see if I can Google it up. I had it on my phone when I was ready to do the episode, and I didn't put it in my notes, so now I got to research it real quick. Thank God for the laptop, which might wind up turning to be what I have to use to also record the show. It says the core misconception versus reality. The phrase jury of one peers does not appear anywhere in the U.S. Constitution, because I said that Karmello Anthony would have standed a better chance at getting a lower sentencing, at least a lower sentencing, if he would have been judged by a jury of his peers. Because you got to remember, they the ones who marked him guilty. And then on the same day, the judge said, I want y'all to go in and come out with the sentencing. And they came out with the sentencing. But it wasn't no one on the jury is what I was pointing out, was his peers. And that's not true. I was ignorant in my speaking, and y'all came through and you tightened your boy up. And I want to stand on business on the podcast. It's enough lies out here being told. It's enough people out here just saying whatever they want based on their feelings. And I don't want to be grouped in with them. So when y'all come and correct me, I'm gonna come back on here and I'm gonna apologize for my ignorance. And that one where I said that he had to be judged by a jury of his peers was false it was false. That's not what the Constitution says, and I'm going to read it. It says the phrase jury of one peers does not appear anywhere in the U.S. Constitution. The Sixth Amendment actually guarantees a trial by an impartial jury drawn from a local representative cross-section of the community, meaning a peer is simply a fellow local citizen, not a clone matching your race, age, wealth, or profession. And that's where I got it wrong, because I'm thinking a jury of peers means they got to be black, because Karmello Anthony is a black boy. So I was thinking that jury of peers should be somebody black, and I was wrong. And I apologize to you listeners. It wasn't my intention to lead you astray, to tell you false. I thought I was speaking rightly. I was not. Y'all got me together. I still think, though, that his sentence is too strict, and I'm glad that they're appealing it. But we ain't not going to know nothing about that to the end of the year. And that's just if it stays within the state. If they pass it to the federal, if it stays local, if it goes to state or the federal, we won't know for maybe even longer than that. So that's that. I wanted to apologize. I owed y'all that. I do want to, I am dabbling in the area of being a journalist, because I report on what I see and hear, and I'm giving you my thoughts, and I want my thoughts to be those that are fair. And that wasn't a fair statement, because it wasn't right. So I wanted to come back and correct that for you guys. But yeah, I was wrong. TikTok listeners, the community, y'all got me. Yeah. So we're gonna move on. One of the other stories that I wanted to report on is to bring back up, and that's something again that I had talked about and kept up with until my equipment went down, and then I wasn't able to come back and kind of put a bow on it. And this is going to put a bow on it. But the whole thing about Big Tigger and his wife, and the domestic dispute that they was in, that eventually caused him to step away from the radio. I don't remember if I reported that. I know I had reported that, he was arrested for that, and that's what they was, that's the charges that was put on him. But it has been reported that Big Tigger is he reported that he was stepping away from radio to focus on his family. And then after he did that, a video surfaced of the altercation they had. And when we literally watched the video, a better video than the first one, because the first one was kind of grainy, and it looked like it was in a dark room. But then we got another video that wasn't grainy at all. I mean, the person that was shooting the video was literally standing like 5 feet away, 10 feet away tops. And you could see Tigger was tussling with his ex over the phone, and he wasn't really being aggressive at all. He just really wanted his phone back. He really wasn't putting his hands on her. And you could hear the boy in the back saying, "Mr. Tigger, get off her. You're hurting her." Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be honest. It gave setup. It really gave a setup. How her son was how her son was narrating and saying that Tigger was doing things that we looking at the video like Tigger not doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it gave to me. But nonetheless, we could see that there definitely wasn't no domestic disputes or no domestic violence going on, at least in that episode. So it's hard to believe that he was doing what she said he was doing, though we have no video saying that showing that that's what he was doing. And then later on that same week, his wife got arrested for a warrant for child kidnapping from Maryland. A second one for felony interference with child custody. She kidnapped her child and kidnapped Tigger's phone, and she's a kidnapper. But once that happened, Big Tigger's charges was dropped, and I'm like, yo, thank God. And so the hot take from this, well, I said last episode that this sounds like a regular uncle and auntie BS, and look how it's turning out. And so my take is this, and I don't remember if I said that on a previous episode, but I'm saying it now, and I'm gonna stand behind that one, is that when your wife can lie on you in a way that causes you to lose your job, and affect your employment, and I think that should pertain to both men and women, because I've heard stories where men have tried to wreck their wives or their girlfriends' jobs by calling their job and starting stuff. And when this happens, and it can be proved that what was said was wrong, and in an effort to defame or destroy that person's ability to make money, straight to jail. That's yeah. Because how you gonna mess up somebody else's livelihood over a lie because you mad? And it's unfortunate that this is a marriage in this episode between them two, because you want to defame your husband. Who's gonna take care of you? You're going to drag him down. Who's going to provide for you? And I'm wondering, where's your mind at when you're doing stuff like that? And so that's that case. I'm not going to dwell on it too long, but yeah, I think that in any time a woman or a man deals with their partner in deceit and causes their partner to lose their job, jail automatically. Yeah, you're dangerous. You dangerous. And so the last story we are going to cover is the one that's been making headlines. It almost seems as if, and I kind of looked at it yesterday and thought about it. It kind of seems as if soon as the Karmello Anthony case died down, because once he got that verdict and they said they were going to seek an appeal, well, things are going to get quiet because ain't nothing really could be done. It ain't nothing there ain't no new information finna surface. We not finna hear nothing. They not even finna cover it no more because it's dead until that appeal comes up. And then it'll more than likely be back in the news. But as soon as that was over with and kind of died down, I'm not going to lie, it couldn't have been maybe 2 weeks, a week tops. And then this Nolan Wells case started. And it's the waters is dirty. The waters as dirty as a Chattahoochee, and you can't tell nothing. And I will start off by saying I'm a bit annoyed with this case on two reasons. One is with the authorities and its handling is that they dragging it out. They dragging it out. I mean, if this was about some rich man's money or some government money, oh, and that case would have been closed weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's making all these news and all these headlines, and nobody really want to come up with the answers. I would say even on the prosecuting side or the lawyers for Nolan Wells family, you know, now that Crump done came in, even he is seen like he want to be a part of the excuse me but shit show, showing pictures and video of things that don't got nothing to do with nothing. Old pictures where he was in the pool, and that picture having us believe that was a recent from after the boat came back. Then had to put up something saying that's not it. Excuse me. And just all this misinformation is the other thing. So one is it's how long we taking to get the real information. You know, it's 2 autopsies and they both inconclusive. Well, the first one might have some answers, but they are tight-lipped. Just like them boys is tight-lipped. Just like the family is tight-lipped. Just like the fence tight-lipped. Everybody over there tight-lipped. Even the people at the parties, the people at the island, everybody quiet and tight-lipped. Ain't no information coming out, and it's too many hands in there for us not to know nothing. Unless, and here's my hot take, unless he did drown, but it was due to negligence on them boys' behalf, meaning they did something and it wasn't intentional, and he died. And then what they did was did a whole bunch to cover it up, making them look like it's more nefarious than what it actually is. I mean, one of the boys' parents is a judge, right? You don't want your name to be smudged because of what happened, so you're gonna, erase y'all's phones, wipe y'all's socials. If we got his phone, wiping his phone too, because what we can't have is the family looking bad, even though it may not have been on purpose. To me, it smells like Karmello Anthony. Yeah. Because Karmello Anthony I don't think that Karmello Anthony meant to kill that boy. He did it in self-defense. He took out a knife because he was in the wrong place of his own choosing, invited by someone else. So maybe the right place, but still the wrong place. Look what happened, because they wanted him out of there and he didn't. He stood his ground, though he should have left. It turned into altercation. At this point, at least it's 2-on-1. They try to say they jumped him, or is rumors out there that they was going to jump him. But if it was me and it was 2-on-1, I'm definitely grabbing a weapon to even the score. And so did he. Stabbed the brother. He died. Anthony took off running. They caught him. When they caught him, he said he was crying. He said, I told him not to touch me. I told him not to touch me. You know, seemed like it was an accident. But now he about to serve 35 with a possibility of parole in 17. It's a long time. That's a long time behind the accident. You ain't mean to kill him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But he got murdered, and it wasn't manslaughter. He should have got manslaughter. But I say that this case, to me, sounds like that. And the reason I say that is because how come ain't nobody saying nothing? It's too quiet. Ain't nobody saying they seen Nolan. Everybody saying they last seen him, blah, 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 blah. But ain't nobody seen him at the point of death. So it seems to be, if ain't nobody seen him, the only place they gonna see him and that man die is right where they found him, in that water. Now, again, It could be negligence on them boys part, and I'm willing to bet when it come out in the wash, at least that's probably what they're gonna rule it at this point, because in my opinion, you're able to really see the facts of it if you wanted to. But the other side of that is way to the other extreme. Is that it's definitely, and I'm making up a word, but you gonna know what I mean. It's definitely some nefarious business going on. Meaning they doing a lot to cover it up. A lot. So much so that if they doing all this covering up, Mississippi need to burn again. And people had to remind me of the Ahmaud Arbery, because I kept wanting to say, how they covered it up or how they getting away with it, and they was like, well, the DA and there's so many people that did wrong in the Ahmaud Arbery case, and they still ain't been brought to justice, and so I'm like, dang. But if this is the case, listen, that's that whole city. You tell everybody down, everybody that had their hand in that pot, because what I find hard to believe is that you could cover it up this well. Now, that autopsy report, the first one, they said it's going to be sealed until it's brought before a grand jury. So we not going to know nothing until they go to court over it. When we talk about cell phone records, but it is so much information that we could go through, that we could literally know if we really wanted to. And it's just taking so long to come up with. Now, right before I started the episode, I did think about it, and I said, well, it took I gotta look and see. I don't want to tell y'all wrong, but listen, because y'all gonna have my ass. Y'all gonna have my ass if I'm wrong. I gotta look and see when Karmello Anthony, I think it was when did Karmello Anthony? Oh yeah, when did the Karmello Anthony incident happen? In June 9th of 2026. Okay, so, and we'll be in 2027. Boy, time be flying. I'm tripping. Yeah, 2027. Wait. No. Murder cases, April 2nd. Yeah. The key dates for the Karmello Anthony murder cases, April 2nd, 2025. That's the incident. I was like, wait a minute. Because I knew it happened about a year ago. And when I read June 9th, 2026, I was like, but that's this year, ain't it? We not in 2027 yet. But yeah, it happened in April 2025. But on June 9th, 2026 is when they passed down that verdict. Now, that's like what? April, May, June. That's a little over a year that it took for it to go to court. And when it go to court, I guess just like that, just like in the Karmello Anthony case, we're not really going to hear a lot of the information until it go to court. And it took a year. And it's not even a month old yet. So it's going to stay in the headlines. And I'm low key sad that it's going to stay in the headlines, because, and maybe it's my algorithm, but that's all I see. But I have fed the algorithm. And I'm gonna feed it now. I'm gonna feed it because if clips from this episode come out, we're gonna be feeding the algorithm, ain't we? So, yeah, that's all I see. And I'm tired of seeing these fake videos of white boys fighting a black boy and slamming his body on the ground, and people saying, is this video of Karmello Anthony? Or another one where this man is pushing another boy up underneath the water at the beach, and is this Karmello? And you see what they doing to Karmello? This is crazy. And all of these videos and new informations, tags that be floating up. We got new information on the Karmello Anthony case. His second cousin stepped up and he said that, Karmello called him 2 days before and said that he was going to be that. This is just random, and I'm making up something. That ain't really one of them. That ain't really one of the new informations that surface, but it just be stuff that don't even make no sense. Just muddying the waters more. Like I said, the water is about as dirty as the Chattahoochee. And like I said this last time y'all heard me say something about the Karmello Anthony. It's more than Karmello floating in that water. I'm sorry. It's more than Nolan floating in that water. But yeah, they got it muddied. It's so crazy. It's so unfortunate, And the more attention it gets, I think, and listen, and I'm probably here muddying the waters myself with all my jibber jabber, but I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do, is talk about what I see. I don't think that, and I'm I don't, what y'all think? What y'all think? Definitely, if you're listening to this, and I don't want to place blame just yet, because it's too quiet. It's too quiet, and yeah, and it's too many people. It's too many hands in there. But like I said, I think though that it's going to come out. And I say I ain't placing blame, and then I'm finna tell you what I think. But that's just what I feel from what I see, is that it's going to come out that he drowned, but it was due to some negligence with them boys. Yeah, even because why are you erasing your socials? You got something to do with it. You got something to do with it, and that second autopsy couldn't prove or find no conclusive evidence that it was assault, or they did something to him, but they couldn't find no evidence that he drowned. And that was the second autopsy, and the first one is sealed, and we're not gonna see that to the grand jury. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all the things that I wanted to cover. It was a slow news week, and I'm just gonna put my cards out here. I know, because I didn't, I stay on social media, and ain't no stories came out other than, real commentations, people getting beat up or whatever. Just, it ain't nothing big. Ain't no big stories been popping. And then I went to a couple sources where I actually like getting information, and they talking about relationships. And so in my mind, when you don't got nothing to talk about relationships, because that's what's gonna get the people going. Everybody like to talk about relationships. It's funny that enough people out here be like, can we stop this man versus woman talk? But then don't stop this man versus woman talk. Everybody want to be in love, and they want to be in relationships, but nobody want to do their job. That's really the problem. Nobody want to do their damn job in relationship. And because nobody want to do their job, we going to keep fighting about what the problem is in relationship, because everybody trying to get something for nothing, instead of just being in a relationship and doing your damn job. Just do your job. But you don't want to have a job, right? You just want to be in a relationship without a job. Well, that's back at your parents' house. And that's if you can get away without chores and having to be in the house at a certain time and paying rent for them. So, but yeah, this is another episode of Just Hear Me Out with your boy. It's I'm working, y'all. I'm working. If this right here work, then we'll be back on schedule for putting out a podcast once a week. It'll just have to be in a different way. But y'all won't know, I guess, unless I come on here and tell y'all. But I'm going to come on here and tell y'all, because sheesh. And then, I got some other things that I'm trying to do. I want to stream, and I'm finna go, like I said, I'm finna get into this networking thing. And so then we finna do some interviews. That's another reason that I'm gonna have to probably just go get me find me another way to record the audio. I'm almost at the point where I may have to get a whole dedicated hardware just for the software. So can't nothing come in and interrupt the settings of it. But there ain't nothing one week I could record, the next week I couldn't. I don't know what's going on with this thing, and I'm not no genius like that. But Audacity is free. So what I'm gonna do? Complain? I could pay for one of these other ones, boy, and that would be frustrating, right? I pay for one, and it still give me these type problems, man. But I do wonder though, if I do pay for one and then I learn it, if then I got a company I could call. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can troubleshoot it from over the phone. But we're not gonna rumble on no more. But this is a podcast, and that is why I got it, because I do like to talk. But that is it. It is your boy Snacks, and you have just heard episode 51 of Just Hear Me Out podcast. Thank y'all for listening. Again, wherever you find this, like it, love it, leave a comment. I'm going to respond. I'm here to interact with y'all, and we're gone. Good night.
Just Hear Me Out podcast with Snacks and Big Flav. Not a tongue bitten and always worth a listen. Weekly on your favorite platform.